Today has come at me so fast. I'm not sure where to begin, and the day is not over. The quote that I want to consider for a few minutes during this man talk is a quote from Abraham Lincoln. It's also attributed to Peter Drucker. If you want to predict the future, then create it. We're so concerned with the past, our failures, what we haven't accomplished, what people think about us, reputation. We spend a lot of time thinking about what we don't have. And I declare that we ought to spend at least with the same energy being grateful for what we do have. And we have a lot. Life is such for a black man that even our mistakes can be blessings. That's how good God is. I had some conversation with a couple of my children today, and all of them needed to be encouraged. And I need for you to be encouraged, especially as a man. Don't punish yourself. I'm really just replaying a couple conversations from this morning, but don't punish yourself, because the world will punish you enough. It will beat you down. A black man rarely, if ever, gets the benefit of the doubt. Rarely, if ever, do they look beyond our color or our size. No matter how intelligent we are, there's always a small part of them that is scared. Maybe they ought to be, because they know what they are capable of, and they know what they have already been guilty of. I find that the ones that are most consistently terrified are white women. And it is the rare white woman, and I know some, who can actually see beyond color. But they are the standard bearers. White men, in many cases, are merely pawns. Please trust and believe that in most cases they must come home and answer to that white woman. And she holds their feet to the fire, not to be racist, but to bring home the bacon by any means necessary. Oftentimes the black man is the brunt of that assignment. And somewhere, hey there, somewhere, maybe it's with the dawn of capitalism, but somewhere the white man, the European, determined that it was not enough for him to just have more than enough. Somewhere he determined that I must take as much as I can from as many as I can in order to make sure that we have more than enough. And once we gain more than enough for ourselves, we need more than enough for our children. Then we need more than enough for our children's children. Then we need more than enough for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. Slowly but surely, you begin to see that they aim to affect the generations that have yet to be born for another 400 years. We, on the other hand, have been duped into believing that our contribution is for the next 40 years. But that's a lie. It's not enough just to buy your mama a house. You've got to buy some houses for the mothers of your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. All these things lend to the need for the black man to be isolated, removed, and persecuted. Because the black man is the apex of humanity. There's none designed more magnificently than the black man, physically, mentally, spiritually. He's the best God made. He's Adam. And even though we don't know it and don't act like it, it doesn't change the fact they know it. They know who we are. That's why they fight so hard to clip our wings. So, as you see, I'm driving, and I'm just pulling up to the Root Cafe. We're going to go in here and continue this conversation. You're more than likely to chime in. Got Kim Sherman and all of those things. Let me see, Joseph and somebody called, I don't know what this is, but we're just gonna continue this dialogue. I was replaying a couple conversations I've had today. And I made it clear that the black man is something amazing and special. And you don't have to worry about anybody telling you, because in their fear, they want to keep that a secret. But at the end of the day, plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work and work your plan. That's what men do. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We have a responsibility to provide stability to our children. What they need is stability in time. It doesn't matter how old you are when they were born, they still need the same thing. You must acknowledge that our children did not ask to be here. Therefore, they need to be provided for, especially from the father. And in circumstances where there is no marriage or there is a divorce, you should expect for the woman to create all kinds of difficulties in the father attempting to father his children. Somewhere in her psyche, I believe, she wants the love that she knows that you have for her children, for her. And if the truth be told, it's just not there. It's no longer there. And it seems to be very difficult for women to move on. And even though they will be quick to declare that they have moved on, you will notice their temperature rise, their demeanor change, and you will notice that they are emotionally involved. And when it was penned that there is a thin line between love and hate, oh, they weren't lying. There is a thin, microscopic, almost non-existent line between love and hate. If you believe that to live is evil spelled backwards, you are correct. If you are to believe that love is evil spelled backwards, you are correct. And even amidst all those obstacles, we still have a responsibility to provide stability and give consistency to our children. We all know that children are expensive. And in this point in my life, not a day goes by that I don't have a child that needs something. And that is a part of leadership and manhood. But I encourage you today, as you might want to have a pity party, woe is me, that quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option. You do not have the option to quit. Don't even think about it. You only have the option to make the adjustment. You do not have, as a man, the option to quit. And you ought to expect, because we live in a world where men are aliens. A real man in this world is an alien. Women have no idea what to do with a real man. No clue. They don't know how to love him. They don't know how to respect him. They don't know how to talk to him. They don't know how to be intimate with him. Oh, they've got a great speech. All of them have a great speech, but actions speak louder than words. They're single. And they're going to be single because they don't know what to do with men. Now, there's the rare woman who is a man maker. But I would submit that the large majority of women are men breakers. They're women on social media all day long, doing everything in their power to make themselves presentable, to shake their ass on social media. They set up scenarios and rooms and costumes and weaves and breast jobs and BBLs and makeup and eyelashes and nails, all to shake that ass on social media for the sake of actually getting attention and getting a man. But when they get a man, because they have no idea what to do with a real man, they can't hold on to him. A real man wouldn't even be interested in most of these women that you see on social media. In fact, if you are a woman, if there's a woman on social media doing just about anything, she's probably crazy. If she's on social media exposing herself and making a fool out of herself, she's more than likely crazy. And if you think about the sensible women in your life, they don't get on social media. A lot of them don't get on at all. A lot of them don't even have social media. It's because they have self-respect. Um, the other question becomes, since we're in man talk, if you are a young girl or even, the older women disgust me. I really think that there should be a limit at about 25 for women dancing on social media, but that's just my opinion. The question becomes, if you are a young girl exposing yourself on social media, where in the hell is your father? Where is he? And if you can't maintain a decent relationship with your father, you're not going to maintain a decent relationship with a man, a boyfriend. Let's not even mention the husband word. We have found today that we have learned and we are learning how to use social media to hide from real conversation. Hey, Wood. And we are becoming less and less able to have real conversation because we want to hide and communicate. And social media allows for us to hide, and the um, ruse, if you will, is that we communicate with who we want to. But the reality is that even with the ones that we want to communicate with, we put forth a false persona, and therefore we don't even communicate with them. So rather than communicating with more people through social media, the fact of the matter is we communicate with less. We become better liars. And that is unfortunate because we need the truth. But this president of ours, he really knows our culture. We appeal to fake news. We appeal to fake relationships. We appeal to lies. And we appeal to wearing a mask. And he does all of those things. And it is amazing that anything that he does, all he has to do is say, I don't know, I don't have any idea what they're talking about. I don't know that person. I don't know what they're talking about. And if that doesn't work, he begins to insult people, a lot like we do on social media. The cowards that are on social media that comment on other people's pages and hide because they are afraid of exposure and real conversation. That's where we live. But Jesus Christ, who was a man, a black man, was a truth bearer. I believe that the greatest thing that Jesus Christ did was just tell the truth. He was a leader in truth. He was a leader in the light, not in the darkness, but in the light. He was a leader. He led the way. That's manhood. He led the way. And so, thanks be to God for the example of Jesus Christ. As you see, I'm still in my car. I don't know if there's anybody in here at the Root Cafe waiting on me. I'm gonna take a quick walk. Finally, in my series of conversations this morning, there came up the question of death, and how some men look around at the circumstances of life and begin to think about dying. I want to say to you that that is not from God. It's not God talking to you, because God is not in the death business. God is in the life business. If you are thinking about dying, and I'm not just talking about suicide. In fact, I'm probably not even talking about suicide, but I don't want to leave that out. I know that God might be using this broadcast to save somebody right now, and I'm okay with that, because I want to speak words of life. But a lot of times people think about their own death, and not taking their life, but when will I die? Where will I die? How will I die? To hell with that. You've got too much living to do. Death will come early for everyone. It will get here soon, just like every other date in your life. It gets here like tomorrow, like in a few minutes. You've got living to do. You don't have time to be thinking about death, especially when you ought to be thinking about life, and abundant life, and growing, and exponential growth, and uh, blossoming, and as a brother shared with me, a term which I'm going to begin using more and more, calculating infinity. That's what that's how he described the AI phenomenon, calculating infinity. But how ridiculous is it to calculate infinity when infinity had an infinite start on your calculation, and therefore it has an infinite head start on your calculation? And you will never remember all that has transpired, and you will never know all that that will transpire. And your calculation will never catch up to infinity, because infinity is growing exponentially every moment by moment. But in our God complex, we think that we can figure it all out. You will never figure it all out. You will figure out enough to complete this season. Your life is just a season. This is your leg of the race. And I challenge you, everyone, to run your leg of the race with purpose. I'm praying for brothers in particular, because I know that you're struggling, and I know that you don't have anyone to talk to, and I know that you're disappointed in yourself, and I know that you want to know what leadership is and what it looks like. You want to know what manhood is and what manhood looks like. I mean, you've been raised by your mother, and your mother, even though she may have been strong, she was not a man. And a man is more than genitalia. A man is the inclusion of genitalia and the understanding of how manhood works. This world is a man's world. If you're going to get ahead in life, in this life, you are going to have to encounter some men, and you're going to have to beat their ass as a man, intellectually, physically, spiritually. You're going to have to beat that ass. Yes, you are. There's some point in this life where you're going to have to go mano o mano. And you're going to have to come with the manhood. And a woman, more times than not, cannot do that. She can do that if she runs into a man that doesn't know his manhood. Well, she can do that. She can beat, there's some women that could beat some men. But even those women will concede when they come face to face with a real man. And those are the watershed experiences in life. Because when you come into encounter with a real man, that's when you grow. Yes, that's when you grow. Let me take this walk around here. See if I got some brothers out here waiting on me. There's some names I need to throw out that you need to be reading. There's a sister named Timnit Gebru. She runs an organization out of Stanford University. I believe it's called DAIR. She's on Twitter. Every day, she posts something from the global African community that is earth-shaking. It's hard to get news about things happening in the global African community. She's almost like a reporter. You want to follow Timnit Gebru, Gabru, on Twitter. There's another sister who's been at it for about 15 or so years. She is a PhD, Harvard graduate, Oxford PhD. She's a baroness in the House of Lords. Her name is Dambisa Moyo. Dambisa Moyo. You want to catch her on YouTube? You want to catch her wherever you can. Sister is bad. Okay? Labor, capital, and production. That's what she talks about. Her opinion is that the world is falling apart. We've become combative and competitive, and growth has become stagnated. Oh, she's bad. You want to watch. I'm on the phone, I'll be back. You want to look at a guy